What was there before newspapers? Ever thought about that? Perhaps you've seen how in movies, messengers race back from the battlefields with reports on victories or defeats. Word of mouth was the primary source of spreading the news. Humans exchanged news long before they could write. 1440 was an important year for the publishing world. Johannes Gutenberg invented the printing press, and the history of newspapers was influenced significantly. The printing press allowed for the high-quality reproduction of printed materials at a rate of nearly 4,000 pages per day. News spread out faster than expected. In a short period of time, all of Europe was populated with newspapers, and they even made their way to the New World. Though the addition of color made the newspapers even more popular, they started to face serious competition when the radio and television made their debut. News over the radio was immediately available rather than waiting for the next day to wake up and buy the newspaper.
Good evening. Here is the official weather forecast from the United States Weather Bureau at the Billings Airport.
And then, the news formats on television were a lot more engaging when compared to the print or radio because it was something modern and way faster.
When did the news in all of these varied and sundry forms become integral to our lives? And why do we even follow it? Survival? Desire to help and empathize? Staying informed? Entertainment? Our answers will vary from story to story, but one thing is certain. We live in a culture in which the news has become almost impossible to ignore.
Even if we're living in a high-tech world, there are people who prefer the classic printed newspapers with their morning coffee. But the digital formats of these publications are also very popular. With just a few clicks, you can discover the latest news in the fastest way. The history of newspapers is still being written these days because people will always choose to be updated with the latest news. And with so much technology that surrounds us, everyone can create their own newspaper and express themselves freely.
This is Shack Podcast.
And our new podcast.
And we have a new podcast.
Very first podcast. Influencers, celebrities, journalists, random friends of yours. Everyone has a podcast.
Hey, and welcome to Connect. Today, we're going to talk about the metaverse. Imagine you put on your glasses or headset and you're instantly in your home space. It has parts of your physical home recreated virtually. It has things that are only possible virtually. And it has an incredibly inspiring view of whatever you find most beautiful, starting with the most important experience of all, connecting with people.
Historically, radio was king. Everyone would gather around the radio or dial in on their drive to tune into their favorite scheduled programming. It was the primary form of communication for anything and everything. And really, it was the first real global communication tool that made its way into mainstream society. But today, things are trending to being digital, on demand, and radio just isn't the same. That being said, radio does still play a role in our media and our entertainment, and so whether podcasting offers something different is a question that's worth asking.
Media companies and individual creators can try out podcasts without risking a ton of cash. And they can publish their shows in the same places that major publishers do.
You're going to be able to bring things from the physical world into the metaverse. Almost any type of media that can be represented digitally, photos, videos, art, music, movies, books, games, you name it. Now, lots of things that are physical today, like screens, will just be able to be holograms in the future.